Hey guys, it's your girl, DiDa Ritz, aka Miss Cheesecake. Welcome back to Detailz. The slice, the slice, the slice, the slice. How am I doing? Well, I'm doing okay. Just working, staying very, very focused. You know, there's always like obstacles and things you have to go through in life, but you know what? I'm a soldier in the army of drag, so I can deal with anything, honey. Slice number one. Where in the world is Wendy Williams? How you doing? She really has been kind of MIA. Where in the world is Wendy Williams? How you doing? I am a Wendy Williams fan. I haven't really watched the show that much since they've been having all these special guest hosts because I just watched the Wendy Williams show to watch Wendy Williams, to be very honest with you. How you doing? I'm not trying to sound like no hater or nothing. It's just I watch the show because I like watching Wendy Williams do her commentary. How you doing? These are all alleged. These are these things I read in my own research, just a heads up. I know she caught COVID, and I know she has thyroids, and I know that there are like other health stuff. Obviously, if you have COVID, you can't come host your show. She's not much of a public person. Wendy kind of is a little bit more of a private person, which is interesting. You would think that someone like her would have a Twitter, and she would have an Instagram. She would be live all the time talking to, you know, her fans or people. As of right now, there's rumors that she is be possibly replaced by Sherri Shepherd. I mean, you know, I love Wendy Williams, but Sherri Shepherd did a fabulous job hosting while she was filling in. The one thing I can't help but think about is I wonder, and these are conversations that I've had with people who are Wendy fans, people who aren't Wendy fans, just people who know Wendy and think about this type of stuff. You know, the biggest question right now is this karma for Wendy? You know, they say karma has come to collect. You kind of never want to wish karma on someone if they're, you know, not doing good or they're having like a really tough time. Like, you don't want to wish that on anyone, but it kind of makes you wonder a little bit. Is this maybe karma, God, or whoever they want to say? Like, how real is that? And she spent quite a career, you know, coming for people, telling people's business, or is this the last moment of her? I mean, did we already see the last of her sitting in the purple chair? Also, I read somewhere recently that she had like kind of a bit of a breakdown and is really just going through a rough patch. And you know, we don't want nobody to go through anything rough, so we do send our love and we do send our get well to Wendy Williams because, you know, we want you back in the purple sea, love. And it makes me wonder, is this the last of Wendy Williams? Like, is this the very last? Like, have we not heard anything from her? Are the rumors true? Has she been replaced? Is Sherri Shepherd gonna take her job? Is Nick Cannon gonna take her spot? Right now, it's just a lot of unanswered questions that I think a lot of people have, and I just want to know, where in the world is Wendy Williams? Slice number two, vinyls versus digital music. Yeah, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to love vinyl records. I recently was having this conversation with some friends of mine, and we were just kind of discussing about how when we were younger, how vinyls were kind of making their way out, and then CDs were kind of like coming in. It was almost like vinyls, cassettes, CDs, what I remember as a kid. Anyone I ever knew had vinyls, when even before vinyls were back in style, you know, now, like if I knew someone back in like the early 2000s who had vinyls, they were considered alternately so cool to me because vinyls they're precious. You have to take care of them. Once you have them, you can't just, you know, throw them all about willy-nilly. You know, you don't want your shit to be scratching and repeating and, you know, doing a record scratch. It really started out like a little conversation that I love to have with people now. Like, do you listen to vinyls or do you listen to MP3s? And it's so interesting because I notice with a vinyl, the sound sounds way different than when you get something digital. I feel like digital, it doesn't sound as fresh as, I don't know, it's just a different sound that I feel the vinyls give me. It's almost like you feel like you're in the studio hearing the music be made. It's so good, I love it. A lot of artists don't get their vinyls pressed, or they do a limited amount of them. And then you have to really search really, really hard for them. I obviously do digital music because I am a drag performer, and so obviously I have to send my music, and I can't just bring a record in and say, play this record at this track. That's just not how that works. Although I love hearing stories from drag queens about how they used to play cassette tapes at their shows and what they would have to do and how they would have to like write it down like it's on side B. It's rewound to the perfect, like, you know, placement, and you can just put it in there and press play. That always cracks me up. I could never imagine a queen coming to the show with a bunch of cassette tapes. Imagine cassette tapes falling all over the place. Sabotage a bitch and just pull her cassette tapes straight up. So, I hate that bitch! What kind of vinyl records do you like to listen to, DiDa? Oh, well, thank you for asking. Oh, don't mind if I do show and tell. So I have a few here I love. Obviously, you saw in the beginning, I have Little Kim on vinyl. Now, this album really is a lot to me because this particular album, Notorious K.I.M., this is my favorite Little Kim moment. I'm a big Little Kim fan. Can't believe I'm gonna tell this story. When I was in high school, I used to love to get my teeth whitened because Little Kim had such a gorgeous white smile always, and I always loved how white her teeth were. They were so like porcelain white and beautiful. And this is just my favorite era of Little Kim, but I used to love to get my teeth whitened because she had really white teeth, and I thought if Little Kim has white teeth, then so should I. I think we all deserve to have white teeth. Bjork, love Bjork. Bjork is one of my favorites. Even before the swan dress, I had always recognized her music, but I actually didn't start listening to her until I was in college. This right here, okay, so first of all, happy belated birthday to the queen of R&B and hip-hop soul, Miss Mary J. Blige. And I love this album. When I first got this vinyl, I actually almost started crying in the store, I'm not lying to you. Really, I should say, this was the first album in my life that I ever bought. Like, I bought this on CD, I remember, and I remember this was the first album that made me fall in love with music. I still love listening to this album today. My favorite song off this record is You Gotta Believe. If you are just having a stressful day, someone's pissing you off, you're having a hard time, put on My Life. I guarantee you there is at least one track for everybody on this album that you'll be able to relate to. Favorite era of Madonna, Human Nature is one of my favorite songs. Bedtime Stories is one of my favorite songs. This is for the ones who know. MTV used to play music videos all the time. And they used to play music videos early in the morning between when they started like moving in shows. So, you know, it'd be like music videos on for like maybe, you know, 3-4 hours and then Real World Marathon. MTV used to actually play music videos like it was just nothing. Like it would be another show that would come on, but they would play someone else's music video. And I have fond memory every morning of seeing Human Nature be played on my television. Crazy thing about this album, and I don't know if a lot of people really know this, but this is probably Madonna's most, in my opinion, this is kind of her most R&B sounding album. I think she worked with Babyface Edmonds on this, Kenny Babyface Edmonds on this album. Of course, you can't forget about Miss Solange Knowles. Everyone always has opinions about this album, but personally speaking, my favorite body of work I've seen from Solange. Everyone had a lot of opinions about this, but I thought that artistically speaking, it just people weren't ready for it. Once again, compared to digital, like would you want to hear this on digital or would you want to hear this on album? I guarantee you want to hear this on album, on a vinyl. It is so good. It is so good. Another queen, Miss Beyonce. I actually had to look high and low for this. I of course, like a lot of people, love Beyonce. And I told myself I really wanted to get all of Beyonce's albums on vinyl. And so this was the next one that I had to sought after and look. And luckily I was in Texas in a Urban Outfitters and it was sitting right there all by its lonesome waiting for me to pick it up. So thank you, Urban Outfitters in Texas at the Galleria. Slice number 3. My favorite drag entertainers. People are like, who are your favorite drag performers? Like, who are the people who inspired you? Who are the people you look up to? There's so many people I look up to. I literally had to sit down and make a list of just like, and this is just scratching the surface. I mean, this is really like the entertainers maybe I've worked with or I've just really come to, with a lot of them, become good friends with, or either just like work with or like just even have been in their presence once or twice, and oh my God, I about have fainted. So I wrote down a few. Taj Mahal, obviously everybody knows Taj Mahal was my drag mother. She is still an icon to me. She is still the living legend. To me, I don't even like to think of that she's passed away and gone on to a better place. I just like to think that she just lives on an island and she is just living her life as a retired entertainer. That's how it is. Shout out to my drag mother, Taj Mahal, the lady Taj Mahal. Stasha Sanchez, y'all already know who Stasha Sanchez is, honey. She was on Legendary. She's a former Miss Continental. She's a former Miss Gay US of A. She's a former Miss NBU. I mean, she is the GOAT. If you really think about it, Stasha Sanchez is literally the GOAT in drag. And she is the epitome of what hard work can truly get you when you really bust your ass. Oh, come on, tree. Tommy Ross. I've talked about her a little bit before, like through social media. Tommy Ross is such a legend and an icon. She really is known for doing the Diana Ross fantasy, and I mean really giving you the Ross the Boss fantasy. I mean, I'm talking big, gigantic hair, sparkly rhinestone, hand movements like Miss Ross herself, the big, gigantic ostrich coat or tulle coat or whatever kind of coat. I mean, like, she really is a legend. I mean, there is nobody greater than Tommy Ross in this industry. If you do not know who Tommy is, you guys need to go look her up. She is the legend in this industry, if you ask me. And literally, I've only worked with her one time, and I literally about shit my pants. I literally almost fainted, I think, working with her, because I was like, I cannot believe I'm working with this woman. She's so iconic. Erica Andrews, icon. May she rest in peace. I was probably able to work with her like the last year while she was still here with us, because she was moving to Chicago. Erica was just, I can't even explain how much of a cool person she was. All these people I name on this list, I have been nervous around, but I was nervous around her, and I was very much like, I didn't know what to expect. And just working with her on a weekly basis or an every other week basis, I mean, she was just always super cool, and she was full of advice, and you could ask her stuff, and she wasn't never too good to not answer anything. She was just a really genuine person. Jasmine Bonet, Kelly Lauren. Monica Monroe is another one. Loved Monica Monroe. You know, Detox reminds me a lot of Monica Monroe. Like the way that Detox walks out and flips everybody off. That was like Monica's signature for years. And I bet you if you were to ask Detox about Monica, she would probably tell you like, I don't know if I've ever even asked Detox that myself. I feel like maybe I have. I don't know. But Detox reminds me so much of Monica Monroe. Like, if you want to know what Monica Monroe was like, legendary Monica Monroe, literally look at Detox, down to the clothing, even the makeup. I mean, it's very canny. I wonder if I've ever told that to Detox. That's something I gotta text her. Chantel DeMarco, Danielle Hunter, Nicole Love Dupree, love Nicole Love Dupree, classic ballad queen, can do Whitney Houston like nobody's business, can literally stand on stage and just literally just control the room, control how she gives. She's just iconic. Chevelle Brooks, the boom boom. Ooh, she is just everything, honey. Let me tell you something. You haven't lived until you've seen Chevelle Brooks perform. Chevelle Brooks can give it all day on stage, honey. The true essence of an entertainer. Such a good entertainer. Giselle Barbie Royale, Silky O'Hara, Tasha Long, Mimi Marks, the blonde bombshell. I mean, I'm really good friends with Mimi. I got it right after I'm done filming this, I have to go do a show later on, and I work with Mimi. I'm so lucky I get to work with her as often as I do in Chicago. That is one of my dearest friends, and actually, here's a really crazy story. When my drag mother passed away, Mimi was the first person I picked up the phone and called, and I still to this day always take that moment in, because I don't think I've ever had a moment quite like that with anyone else in this industry where I just bawled my eyes out, like just literally bawled my eyes out, really cried out emotion. And I remember at that very moment, it made us immediately close. I love Mimi Marks so much. Funny story about Mimi is every time I walk into a room, if you've ever seen Tamar Braxton walk into the room when Toni Braxton's in the room and she says, "Toni Braxton, living legend and icon," I do it every time to Mimi, and Mimi always just rolls her eyes at me and goes, "DiDa, you are too much." And I go, and I'm gonna keep doing it because you are. Because sometimes you just gotta make sure you are giving people their flowers and letting them know how much you appreciate them. Sasha Colby, Scion Flair, Sabin. Oh my God, Sabin. Oh my God, Sabin. Shout out to Sabin. Sabin, who works, I believe, in Detroit, Michigan, but sometimes works in Grand Rapids. Sabin be working all over in the Michigan greater area, but Sabin is an amazing queen. I used to know when I lived in Lansing, Michigan, my hometown. Tyra Lynn Fox, Tanisha Cassadine. Oh my God, Sasha Valentino. Sasha Valentino was straight up iconic, y'all. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about a bitch who never gave up and really tried her hardest literally into her last day? It was no wonder they had to make her an honorary continental, because Miss Thing always put in the work, and she tried her hardest. She really did, and she was such a sweetheart. I met her a few times here in Chicago at shows. Raquel Lord, Victoria LePage. Oh my God, let me tell you something. I do not intimidate easily, but let me tell you something. Miss Victoria LePage, still to this day, I would be standing next to her and be just trembling like with fear, because she is just so fierce. And once again, if you don't know who Victoria LePage is, honey, let me tell you something. Do your research, okay? Chili Pepper, honey, the iconic Chili Pepper. I mean, Chili Pepper still working at the baton, still working it and twerking it and doing it. Shout out to Miss Chili Pepper, the one and only, the legend, the first. Okay. Delicious, Aviance, LaTorsha Zanelle. There was this queen in Lansing, Michigan when I was growing up. Her name was LaTorsha Zanelle. I don't even know where this queen is. I don't even know if where she is, but LaTorsha Zanelle, I used to love her energy and I used to love her personality, and she was a take no mess type of bitch. D'Electra was one of the first drag queens I had ever met, ever came in contact with, and she was truly the drag queen that not only helped me come out of the closet to being gay, but also come out of the closet to being a drag queen. Just the idea of seeing how fabulous she was and how confident she was, I just always fell in love with her. Shout out to D'Electra. Slice number 4. Are rich people being insensitive during the pandemic? So this was a conversation I recently had, and it really was like, I was like, immediately when I was having this conversation, I was like, you know what, I'm putting this on next week's episode of Detailz. There are people going to space right now. There are people who, you know, almost are posting and boasting more online. It all started with Dorit. We were talking about Dorit from the Housewives. She was robbed, and obviously being robbed, you know, they stole a bunch of stuff from her, but I'm sure they went in her closet and stole her bags, because we all know Dorit loves some fashion. And she's probably got like $1 million, $2, $3, $4 million worth just fashion alone. Like she probably has so much fashion in so many clothes. When we were talking, there were people in, you know, the conversation that didn't feel bad for her. There were people in the conversation that were like, I don't feel bad. Like, you wear that stuff, you flaunt it, you put it online, you can't be surprised if someone is going to come like rob you. But then there were people also in the conversation that were saying, yeah, but no one should be trying to rob or be upset because people work for this type of stuff. And even if we don't live that life, like, you shouldn't just think that just because, like, no, you wouldn't want that to happen to you. My placement in all of it is I hate to do this, but I'm very Switzerland about it. Because on one hand, if we all buy nice things, we all want to show it off. You worked really, really hard for it. And like, you want to show that off to people. You want to be like, oh, look at what I've worked for. Look how hard I've worked. But also on the other hand, I feel like, you know, we are in the middle of a pandemic. Not everybody can afford this or that. And when you put that stuff out online, you kind of do run the risk of I guess, making yourself a target. You know, I don't think that people who make a certain bracket of money right now are worried. If you have a certain amount of money and wealth that you've accumulated and really worked for, I don't think you're stressed out about paying your rent or paying your light bill or paying your cell phone bill, because you know it'll be paid. And for a lot of people out here, that is the biggest stress right now, is where is my next dollar gonna come from? Which then leads into the next question of like, okay, so if like rich people get robbed and mugged, then should we be sympathetic for them because they have everything in the world and then they can just easily replace it? You know, once again, I don't think anybody should be wishing anyone like, oh, it's okay to be robbed. But at the end of the day, I do understand how people can be insensitive or not care if someone of money gets robbed and has a traumatic situation of their house being broken into, or, you know, them being mugged, I guess, in a crazy way, compared to somebody who has been robbed and mugged but then can't replenish as quick. You know what I mean? If somebody robs you and you have a Rolex on and, you know, you make, you know, 7 figures in, I don't know, a month, something crazy like that, and somebody robs you because you have a Rolex on, well, I probably am not going to be as sympathetic to you, because I'm going to be sympathetic a little bit more on like, are you okay? Are you good? Everything's replaceable. I'm not going to let you like cry that out about if your Rolex was stolen. If you're a person who also worked for that Rolex, but you don't make 7 figures, you don't even make 3 figures, but you got a Rolex, you know, you worked hard to save up and buy a Rolex, and then your Rolex is stolen from you, well, then I might have a little more sympathy for you. You saved up a lot of money to buy this Rolex and it's stolen from you now, and that does suck. I don't know. It's you know, I don't know. I guess for my whole take on it is that I think if you work hard for something, if you make a lot of money and you earned it, I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with flaunting that, but also don't be shocked if people, A, get angry at you for flaunting that in the middle of a pandemic right now. Also, two, if no one gives you sympathy because you got robbed or you got held at gunpoint, that you made it out alive. You're complaining about, oh my God, my Rolex was stolen. He stole my Rolex. Well, you can buy another Rolex. You got more than enough money to buy a Rolex. It's like, so I don't know. It's very, it's a double-edged sword, maybe. It's a double-edged sword. Size number 5, Housewives tea. Okay, so y'all know how I am. I don't devote one housewife franchise to one slice. We don't do that. I'll give you a little rundown of things, okay? Because we ain't got time. If we was doing that all damn day, I'd be giving y'all 20 slices of Housewives pop culture. And we ain't got that kind of damn time, okay? Let's get into it. Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, it is rumored that Mary Crosby did not show up to the reunion, and I really would like to know why. Feel free to email me, honey. Let's do a little live. Let's sit here and talk. You know, hit me up. I want to know what's going on. But rumored that she did not show up to the Housewives reunion. I think that in any reality TV show situation, if you film it, then you got to come back and have a reunion about it. That's always kind of like what I was under the assumption with when I was on reality TV. The Housewife reunions are pretty epic. Like, I would assume that that's like a prep day for all of the housewives. Like, they know, like, okay, this is reunion day. I got a lot of like this. I gotta get the facials. I gotta get the manicure, the pedicure. I gotta wax, you know, hair done. All this. Like, I would assume it's like a full like week, even probably, of just prepping before you even know you're gonna go. So I think it's interesting that she thought like, oh, maybe I could just not show up and that wouldn't be that big of a deal. But maybe that's what she wanted. I don't know. There's a lot of things that Mary has done this season on Housewives of Salt Lake City that has been very questionable. There was the whole comment that she made about drug dealers and them being Mexican. These are her comments. These are not mine. These are what she said, okay? And then there was a whole comment made about Jeannie's appearance when she had mentioned her eyes and said that they were slanted. Yeah, that was very disrespectful. I thought we had left that shit back in like 2019, 18, but we still over here doing that. And then, of course, there's all these allegations wrapped up in her church. Allegedly, it's cult, allegedly scamming people, allegedly. I feel like at the end of the day, the reunion is the time for you to come and fess up to anything. I mean, even if you guilty, girl, come and sit down with your lawyers and lie. My goddamn. I mean, it's working for Jen Shah right now. She showed up to the reunion from what it looked like. You already know Jen Shah gonna bring it for the reunion. That's what she's doing. But here's the deal. Jen Shah is under so much investigation right now with all of the Ponzi scheme and all that stuff with her job. But the thing I give Jen Shah credit is she still filmed. She didn't run away from the cameras. As the same thing with Erica Jane. Did not run away from the cameras. They still filmed. They showed up to the reunion. They answered every question that they could. And to me, both of them seem very innocent compared to like Mary. Like, you're getting all these allegations and all this stuff, and then you're not showing up. You're not even like, you know, coming to like defend yourself. You defend yourself in any other situation, so why don't you show up to the reunion and defend yourself? I mean, the reunion is the ultimate like smackdown, like, I'm gonna get it all off my chest. We're gonna lay all this out so we can close the book on this chapter and then open the next chapter, I guess, of when they come back to film y'all for the next season. She probably didn't show up because she had a lot that she knows she has to answer for. And Mary kind of gives me the type of person that really, I don't think can take it at all. I feel like she can probably dish it out, but she can't take it. Housewives of Miami is back after so many seasons. They brought back most of the original cast. Like, I believe like 4 of the cast members are pretty original. And then they have added on Gertrude, Julia, and Larsa Pimpin. And Larsa Pimpin. First of all, Larsa, y'all, we can say what we want to say about her. Yeah, she may, you know, look like Kim, or like maybe wanted to be Kim, or like wanted to be in that Kim Kardashian spotlight or that Kardashian world. But here's the thing about Larsa Pimpin that you cannot take away from her. When we talk about originals, in my mind, she's an original housewife, an original basketball wife. She was married to Scottie Pippen for so many years. I mean, when he was playing ball and on the, you know, Chicago Bulls team and everything, she was very much devoted to him and married to him. And I don't know, I feel like she's getting what she kind of like deserves. I think she's always kind of wanted this. She's always wanted to be on, I think, reality TV, and I think she always wanted to be on like a legit platform, and you can't get any more legit than the Housewives of Miami. I think that they brought back this franchise because I feel like this is the franchise that I actually want to see more of, and I don't know why, they just don't really commit to the Housewives of Miami like they normally do with everything else. I will say also, I was sad that Leah Black, who was also an original member or an original cast member of the Housewives of Miami, I was really upset that Leah Black did not make, maybe we'll see her throughout the season, maybe she'll make an appearance or a cameo, but she's not a housewife on here. And Leah Black to me really gave me like somebody who was very integrated in the Miami aristocratic world. She was actually my favorite person on the show of the Housewives of Miami, so I was kind of sad that she wasn't there. But at the end of the day, this cast is really, really great. There's some really great storylines on this season. There's a whole like husband passed away, found out he had a gay lover type of storyline on there. There's Adriana trying to be a bit of a homewrecker, but we gonna let her pass on that because we still don't know if that's just maybe her fun personality. Although I did love Julia's partner, got her ass together because you was wrong for getting your feet rubbed by old girl when you know she had a woman. Why are you trying to wreck and fuck up homes, Adriana? And also, why was Adriana coming for Larsa Pippen? I ain't no like diehard Lysol Pippen. I ain't no like diehard Larsa. I did it again. I'm not no diehard Larsa Pippen fan or nothing like that, but it felt like Adriana was throwing with some mad shade to Larsa when she was talking about the OnlyFans and all that stuff and coming for the girls in the OnlyFans. Let me tell you something. You can't come for the girls when they make the money with the OnlyFans, honey. Some of y'all out here giving all the goods out for free, honey, when you need to have your ass in the OnlyFans trying to get in that money, honey. We live in a new world. Ain't nobody gonna call you a hoe. Get your money, honey. OnlyFans. Shout out. Gertrude, I like Gertrude. She seems like a fierce party planner. She also seems like a little bit of a attention needer. When old girl was sitting there talking about like having like a miscarriage and all that, and Gertrude was just crying uncontrollably, so loud. I guess it must have been, you know, a story she could relate to because she was just crying so loud. It felt like she was trying to take attention a little bit away. But, you know, somebody tells a story sometimes, you relate to it, tears happen, and that's just the natural of it all happening, okay? I'm really waiting for a trans housewife. There was rumors years ago that Amaya Scott, who I absolutely love, there was rumors that Amaya Scott was supposed to be on the Housewives of Atlanta, and I mean, I think that even made it to almost TMZ I saw, but nothing ever came from that, and I was upset about that because I was like, Amaya Scott, that would be perfect. It would only be perfect. Let's get some more of that representation out there, honey. Let's get some more of that trans black woman representation on out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, remember to like and support us here on IMHO, because honey, let me tell you something. It ain't cheap to run this stuff, okay? As always, remember, if you're in Chicago, every Thursday at Charlie's for Drag Survivor starts at 10 o'clock, hosted by Alexandria Diamond. I am the resident judge there. We have such a good time. We're in the All-Star season. Shout out to all those entertainers. Also, season 14, RuPaul's Drag Race viewing party at Hydrate Nightclub, along with my good girlfriend, Gina Bell. We give away fun prizes, we have a lot of shots, we talk a lot of shit, and we just have a plain, blunt, good-ass time. Also, remember, if you would like to get swagger merch, DM me on my Instagram or my Twitter. And as always, I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Subscribe. Strong J.